Adab. I'm deeply honored to have a chance to speak to you on this special occasion for the LUMS Karachi Alumni Re-union. The topic of my talk is unions, separations, reunions. The word reunion fascinates me. It can have two distinct meanings. The first stands for a social gathering attended by members of a certain group of people who have not seen each other for some time. They're reuniting. But the problem is that you've changed since you were last there. Others have changed. And what's more, the place is unrecognizable. So, what are we really calling a reunion? Reunion of what? You see, when you leave a certain place, you don't just miss the place and the people who were there, but you miss yourself or the person that you used to be at that moment in that place. The reunion then is important because it is between your old and your new self, which immediately reveals the stark contrast between the presumably more innocent, vulnerable, youthful, erstwhile person with the seasoned, mature, more cynical adult of today. Of course, it could be just the opposite, meaning that you were foolish and impetuous when you were young, but age has made you wiser and more accepting and balanced. The bottom line is that you are not the same person. So the reunion today is reintroducing you to what you used to be. A comparison between one's guileless youth to the wily, crafty adult that you have become today. Beautiful and loving tribute to this kind of comparison was made by Javed Akhtar back in 1980s. मुझको यकीन है सच कहती थी जो भी अम्मी कहती थी जब मेरे बचपन के दिन थे चांद में परियां रहती थी एक ये दिन जब अपनों ने भी हमसे नाता तोड़ लिया एक वो दिन जब पेड़ की शाखें बोझ हमारा सहती थीं एक ये दिन जब सारी सड़कें सूनी सूनी लगती हैं एक वो दिन जब आओ खेलें सारी गलियां कहती थीं एक ये दिन जब जागी रातें दीवारों को तकती हैं एक वो दिन जब शामों की भी पलकें बोझल रहती थीं एक ये दिन जब लाखों गम और काल पड़ा है आंसू का एक वो दिन जब एक जरा सी बात पे नदियां बहती थीं और एक ये दिन जब जहन में सारी अय्यारी की बातें हैं एक वो दिन जब दिल में सारी भोली बातें रहती थीं और एक ये घर जिस घर में मेरा साजो सामा रहता है एक ये घर जिस घर में मेरा साजो सामा रहता है एक वो घर जिस घर में मेरी बूढ़ी नानी रहती थी मुझको यकीन है सच कहती थी जो भी अम्मी कहती थी जब मेरे बचपन के दिन थे चांद में परियां रहती थी. Well, so that is one kind of reunion. But now we come to a different meaning of the word. It is also defined as the act or process of being brought together again as a unified whole. In this context, I started to think of how entities become whole. And strangely enough, an odd and rarely discussed Sher of Ghalib came to mind. Uniquely a Ghalib style, he opens with a real zinger of a first line, making the staggering declaration, लताफत बेकसाफत जलवा पैदा कर नहीं सकती. Something beautiful cannot be seen without something ugly. The two words that immediately demand attention here are latafat and kasafat. The manner in which they're pitted against each other in the Misra make it clear that they are opposites, as indeed they very much are. Latafat is light, kasafat is dark. Latafat is glory, kasafat is eclipse. Latafat is delicate, kasafat is dense. Latafat is elegance, grace, beauty, and purity. Kasafat is compressed, clustered, impure, compact. Latafat is intangible, impalpable, incorporeal. Kasafat is tangible, palpable, concrete. So what's Ghalib really saying here? That latafat cannot manifest itself without kasafat. For example, we cannot see light which is incorporeal unless it is reflected off a surface. Fragrance, latafat, can only be experienced through flowers. The spirit or ruh can only be perceived through the body. Once the body dies, the spirit is no more. So in a larger sense, Ghalib is saying that even the ultimate Noor of God needed something to reflect his presence, and thus he created the universe. Or the metaphysical can only manifest itself through the physical. Latafat bekasafat jalwa paida kar nahi sakti. As Bekhud Tehlvi explains, until lightness is mixed with impurity, it cannot even have an appearance. So much for the Misra Ula. Now Ghalib comes to the Misra Sani, where he proceeds to provide proof for the statement he made in the first line. We often hear it said that spring has arrived, but spring itself is intangible, incorporeal. We know it is here because it gets reflected in the sudden flowering of gardens. Latafat bekasafat jalwa paida kar nahi sakti. Something beautiful cannot be seen without something ugly. Chaman zangar hai, aine bade bahari ka. Gardens are the rust for the mirror, reflecting the spring breeze. There's a subtle sweetness here in the use of the word zangar, which is the verdigris on metals that turn them green, a bright bluish green encrustation formed by atmospheric oxidation, consisting of really basic copper carbonate. So zangar is green. And of course, the chaman turns green. Ghalib is saying that the garden is the zangar, the rust on the mirror, announcing the arrival of spring. Bahar is the latafat, chaman is the kasafat. The Sher is rightly considered as one of Ghalib's most thoughtful meditations on the Azra-e-Azal, the essential mysteries of the universe, the deity. Dr. Bijnori is quoted in the Yusuf Chishti Shara of Ghalib as saying that Ghalib, has answered the timeless question of why God needed to create the universe in order to expose his presence, because latafat bekasafat jalwa paida kar nahi sakti. The essential idea is that even for purity and beauty to be sighted, there must exist a concrete, tangible, reflective medium. In another place, Ghalib opens his manqabat, celebrating and honoring Hazrat Ali, with these gorgeous lines. Deher juz jalwaye yaktaye ma'bud nahi. Deher juz jalwaye yaktaye ma'bud nahi. हम कहाँ होते अगर हुस्न न होता खुद भी. So beautiful. The world is merely a manifestation of the uniqueness of the beloved. For if the beauty didn't seek its own awareness, we ourselves would not exist. Material, concrete, possible realities have the same relationship to the essential divine mystery that the sun has to bodies. Each can absorb and reflect sunlight based on its composition, its inherent constitutional ability. Stones reflect little, while mirrors reflect an abundance of sunshine. Or every element of matter simply exists to reflect and echo its creator. Ultimately, the universe serves as a mirror in which God can sight his own beauty and its infinite variations. Emily Dickinson has an interesting take on the topic as well. Here is what she says. Surgeons must be very careful when they take the knife. Underneath their fine incisions stirs the culprit, life. It's one of my favorite little poems by Dickinson, in which he turns a standard understanding over on its head. Surgeons are supposed to be performing an operation to cure an illness, remove a diseased part of the body, to bring relief from pain, to repair some damaged organ. But Dickinson is cautioning the surgeons that they must not be too aggressive, because in their desire to cure the disease, they could end up killing the patient. In fact, she's giving us a master class in these 4 lines to stop fighting constantly to remove problems in life. Rather, we should be more accepting of the pain, the adversities, the struggles that life will invariably throw in our path. Suffering is inevitable. Pain is unpredictable. And the only certainty in life is that things will change continuously. In other words, life itself is the culprit, not just the diseased organic part of the body. Life is the latafat and disease is the kasafat, and the two are intricately intertwined. We must accept life, warts and all. Now, let me end by describing a personal experience when I tried to reunite my shattered soul to try and become whole again. It's one of the most beautiful and noble lessons I learned about living from a patient who was dying. We were both in our early 30s at the time. As I cared for my patient JC, who had a particularly deadly form of leukemia. She had been my patient for almost 2 years, a period during which our friendship thrived even as cancer eroded her body. Maybe because those were my salad days. Maybe it was JC's ravishing personality, her youthful, stunning good looks, her vulnerability as a new mother, her wicked sense of humor, her poise, her willingness to befriend and school a fresh, insecure junior attending physician in ways of knowing cancer, in ways of knowing life. Aristotle defined tragedy as a moment of discovery. The discovery has to be somehow purged. When Oedipus found out that he had killed his father and married his mother, he had to blind himself, wandering off as some kind of a prophet. The years with JC shattered me in ways I was not aware of until I tried to put myself back together. Reunion of my 2 selves before and after JC. The deconstruction and reconstruction process, painful stepwise rehabilitation of my soul, marked by many false starts and regressions, was my equivalent of blinding and unblinding myself. I stopped being the newly minted warrior oncologist. I emerged as someone who was no longer startled by cancer's infinitely unpredictable testy tones, its gruesome cruelties. Rather, I became an adult who had learned to stop twinning the suffering of individual patients. The mystery of the world is the visible, as Oscar Wilde pointed out, not the invisible. JC helped me make the leap from dallying in the abyss of cancer's ruthless nihilism to considerations of more humanistic, humanitarian issues of life and death. JC gave no lectures. She did not write any books. It was her sober acceptance of the unspeakable tragedy in 1,000 little gestures that slowly but surely parted the curtain, allowing me to witness grace in all its heroic splendor. She gave me eyesight. She gave my eyesight the insight it needed. JC made the invisible visible and opened entire new mysterious worlds for me to wander in as I negotiated each new patient who came with their own unique set of cryptic, mysterious challenges. In the end, reunion is about meeting up, not just with classmates, but with yourself, and remembering who you are before you started to make compromises. It's about reconnecting with the people you spent some of your best years with, and through them, with the you that existed in those days, long before life intervened to scatter the group around the globe. Remember, no one else will know or appreciate you as truly and as deeply as the people you're uniting with today. And now, of course, you could never fully appreciate the beauty of your youthful innocence until it was thrown in stark contrast with your adult life. So enjoy your reunion in my favorite city in the world, Karachi, and remind yourselves that Ghalib's pronouncements are invariably spot on. लताफत बेकसाफत जलवा पैदा कर नहीं सकती, चमन जंगार है आईने बादे पहाड़ी का. Thank you. LUMS Zindabad, Ghalib Zindabad, Pakistan Zindabad.